Good afternoon, folks. My name is Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this afternoon, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings unless and until the State Attorney's Office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this afternoon. That is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit of the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. And if you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this afternoon. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. And I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Y'all solemnly swear affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Lorraine Hout. Morning, Miss. What's your date of birth?
9/26/1979.
All right, I've got 3 charges today. I've got trafficking in, looks like methamphetamine, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you're going to represent yourself, you're going to hire private counsel, or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
PD, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State what you got.
A Willis adjudication in 2019, a retail theft adjudication in 13, no valid DL in violation non-resident requirement in 2009, adjudication possession of Oxy in 2009, a withhold for an FTA in 2008, and a withhold possession of cocaine in 2008.
All right. And Miss, I have an address for you on Spruce Drive in Weekiwachi. Is that where you live?
No, sir.
Where do you live now?
13188 Maycrest Avenue in Weekiwachi.
Okay. How long have you lived there?
Just a few months.
Do you have a job? Do you have a job these days?
No, sir, I have an SSI.
Okay. All right. As to count 1, I'm going to set the bond at $15,000. As to count 2 at $2,000 and count 3 at $1,000. That's a total of $18,000. You're going to be back in court on the 4th of February. If you get out, it's very important that you go see the public defender right away, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Michael Bodor. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
05/08/1989.
All right, Michael, you're here on a warrant out of Polk County. The judge that signed that warrant found probable cause for a violation of probation and set your bond at no bond. I can't change that. We'll let the folks in Polk know you're here and ready to go. I'll give them 5 days to come get you. If for some strange reason you're still here in 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me and I'll find out what the holdup is, all right?
Sir.
Thank you. James Brown. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
7/3/1983.
All right. Mr. Brown, I have a number of charges today. I have 2 counts of possession of firearm by a convicted felon, 1 count of possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, 3 counts of possession of controlled substance, 1 count of possession of a firearm with an altered ID, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, 1 count of possession of marijuana. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
PD.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
A burglary adjudication in 2008, as well as 4 counts of dealing stolen property adjudication in 2008, possession of meth and cannabis and attached tag not assigned adjudication in 2005, duelist adjudication in 2004, a DV bat adjudication in 2004, an utter forged instrument, and a grand theft over 300, adjudication in '02, false report, adjudication in '01, and then delinquency.
Okay. And Jim, have you been staying any place regularly lately?
Yeah, 509 South Main Street.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
I just lost my job currently, sir.
What were you doing?
I was installing a fence for the West Florida fence.
Okay. All right. On the first three charges, the felon in possession charges, I'll set the bond at $10,000 each. On the three controlled substance at $2,000, and then on the three misdemeanors at $1,000. That's going to be a total of $39,000. Your charges are also coming back February 4. If you get out, make sure you go see the PD. If you can't get out, they'll come see you at the jail. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Milton Delane.
All the way down.
Afternoon, Milton. What's your date of birth?
6/16/1968.
Charge is trespass. As to that charge, there's probable cause. You want to represent yourself? You going to hire private counsel, or would you like the public defender?
Proud attorney.
Very good. State.
He has a paraphernalia adjudication in 2018 and a possession of controlled substance adjudication in 2018 where a prison sentence was imposed, as well as a sale, deliver adjudication in 18. Adjudication in 2000 for a sale of cocaine. Paraphernalia adjudication 99. And then it just goes back.
That's okay. That's okay. And Milton, you got a job these days?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll leave your bond at the $500. I'll have you back in court on February 7th. If you get out, make sure you contact your private lawyer right away, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Quentin James. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
9/12/88.
Putting the charge is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point the PD. State.
I dropped DV bat from April of this year on a Polk County, and adjudication withheld in 2018 for a no valid driver's license and no other history.
And sir, I had an address for you on Freedom Way in Brooksville. Is that where you were living?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
I just moved to work at the Walmart distribution center, so I've been out for like a year almost.
Okay. And was Miss Seymour living there too?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, I work at the Walmart distribution center.
Okay. All right. Let's set your bond at $1,000. Condition of the bond, though, is while this charge is pending, you're going to have no contact with Miss Seymour. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. Don't contact her through social media. Don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. Don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond will be revoked and you'll be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact. So if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she'll get to make. She might go to the state attorney's office and tell them that she'd like the charges dropped, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney who will be handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case or your lawyer tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they're not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I got a hold of you this afternoon until 4 o'clock, so if she wants to serve you with a civil injunction, we know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact because if you did that, then you not only would you get your bond revoked here, but you'd get you a new charge for violating the injunction. As far as that address on Freedom Way goes, as long as she's there, you'll have to find someplace else to stay. You can go by one time to get your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. To do that, however, you must contact the sheriff's office first. They'll meet you there with a deputy who will stand by while you collect your things and get going where you're going. I'll have you back in court on February 5th. Very important that you go see the PD when you get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Joel Mativier? Afternoon, Joel. Date of birth?
3/29/82.
Joel, the first thing I have is a warrant that was signed by Judge Heelis. She found probable cause for a felony petty theft. Then we have new arrests for possession of meth, possession of hashish, and possession of drug paraphernalia. So there's probable cause all the way around. As to those charges, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point to PD, State.
An adjudication for torture, inflict pain, serious physical injury, or death in 2018, where a state prison sentence was imposed. A adjudication withheld in 2005 for possession of cannabis over 20 and a paraphernalia in 05. Adjudication in 04. Adjudication in 2018 for petty theft, second degree. Adjudication in 18 for a grand theft. A petty theft adjudication in 18. There's multiple of those. Paraphernalia as well. A possession of controlled substance adjudication in 18. And adjudication in 17 for a battery. An adjudication in 15 for a battery. And a possession of cannabis, intent to sell or deliver, adjudication withheld in 06.
All right. And Joel, where you been staying lately?
Harlanwood.
All right. Do you have a job these days?
No.
All right. On the felony theft, I'll leave the bond at $5,000. On the meth at 2, the hash at 2, the paraphernalia at 1. That's going to be a total of $10,000 all the way around. All those charges coming back on February 4th. If you get out, go see the PD right away. If you can't get out, they'll come see you at the jail before you go to court. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Andrew Neidland. Afternoon, Andrew. What's your date of birth?
2/1/86.
Andrew, I got a warrant for you out of Pasco County. The judge that signed the warrant found probable cause for violation of probation and set your bond at no bond. I can't change that. We'll give them 5 days to come get you. It never takes 5 with Pasco, but if for some strange reason you're still here in 5, they'll bring you back to see me, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
John Rispoli. Afternoon, John. What's your date of birth?
12/18/89.
John, you're hearing a warrant that was signed by Judge Merritt. He found probable cause for violation of probation. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point to PD. Bond on that warrant is no bond. I can't change that. I'm going to change the date. We'll have you back on the 21st of January, and the public defender will come see you before that, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Dalton Weaver.
Sean.
Afternoon, Dalton. What's your date of birth?
7/24/96.
All right, Dalton, you're also hearing a warrant signed by Judge Merritt. He found probable cause for a VOP. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point to PD. Bond on that warrant is no bond. I can't change that. I'm going to change your date also. We'll have you back January 21st. PD will come see you before then, all right?
Sir, what is the time of that court date?
So 1:15.
1/15, January 21st.
You got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.